God, it's another Friday in the month of January. And of course, this is the final Friday of the month in the manner of speaking. When we return on Monday, the markets will be having its final few days of the month, and we're wrapping up the first month in 2024. So let's walk you through the trading day. The Nigerian stock market, as you know, it's already is continuing on that very strong upside trajectory, same as the Zimbabwe stock market. On Thursday, the South Africa's central bank, or the SCRB, decided to leave interest rate unchanged at about 5.8%. That took a bit of a shine off the stock market, down by 0.38% in Joburg. The Nairobi stock market down by 11 basis points. Egyptian stock market was closed Thursday for a public holiday, and the markets in Cairo will be reopening on Monday. Then you've got the BRVM better by 0.44%. Let's take that off and look into some of the big stories out of East African corridor. Of course, the news this morning is that the court in Nairobi is saying it's not going to rescind the decision as far as government new housing levy is concerned. The court is been hitting President Ruto's administration left, right, and center. First, it was the Finance Act, which was shut down and later resolved. Then you have the new housing levy, which the government is proposing, and the court says the government can go ahead and impose those new levies on Kenyans. All of that we're following very closely, the twists and turns in East Africa's biggest economy. In the meantime, Kenya is looking for a new head of debt office because the head of that organization, Harum Surima, quits suddenly after some issues around the country's Eurobond just a few days ago within the current week. So the vacancy notice is out there. If you're interested, put in your resume to the relevant authorities. KenGen, of course, that power generating company, is at the top of the dividend window for the Nairobi securities market for last year at about 15.3% on the yield table. Coffee exports. What's in a cup of coffee? Well, that's about $570 million in terms of exports in the second half of last year from Ethiopia. And Old Mutual Holdings says it's looking to sell its subsidiary in Tanzania unit to minority shareholder. We'll have the full details of that when it's completed and the amount involved. Let me look at West Africa. All eyes still on the Central Bank of Nigeria's monetary policy meeting, February 26, 27th, on what the exchange rate outlook is, what's inflation targeting, what's the exact figure that Olaye Cardoso and his team will be looking at. As far as the Naira exchange rate is also concerned, the Naira tumbled very sharply Thursday on the street, 1,410, the lowest ever for the Nigerian currency since the country's attained independence back on the 1st of October 1960. It's the worst time for the Naira. Yesterday, the Naira finished above 900 at the official Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange Market. So all eyes right now on the central bank rate meeting. Some analysts are forecasting 100 to 300 basis points hike, that will move foreign investors, portfolio investors back into the Nigerian market. That will elevate the country's yield environment for fixed income, but that could be attractive for investors that will bring those sorely needed effects into the Nigerian market that is currently groaning under liquidity crunch. Other Holdings PLC, currently listed on the NESE over-the-counter market, says it's looking to move to the main Nigerian Exchange Limited platform this year. Said they performed very well yesterday. The CEO, Falade, was speaking at the Investors Forum yesterday evening, hosted by Cardinal Stone Partners, one of the biggest investment securities supermarkets in Nigeria. Ghana's Revenue Authority says it's looking at about 146 billion shillings in revenue for the full year 2024. President Nana Akufo-Addo's administration need every kobo or every shilling city on the table, whatever it is, bring it on, because things are still a little bit tough for the West African commodity economy. And Niger military junta leader says the door is closed as far as issuance of new licenses into the country's mining sector. So the South African Central Bank yesterday raised interest rate at hold interest rate at 8.25%. And the currency this morning, Friday, was recovering around 18 to the US dollar the morning after. Again, the decision by the 5-member Monetary Policy Committee led by Leseja Kagiango was supported by December inflation, which came in at about 5.5%, and a few other economic data that's giving a bit of a headroom for the SARB to hold rates. The forecast is that the central bank in South Africa should be cutting rates sometime in July, and that's according to the Bank of America. Fund managers looking at a stronger rand at about 17.73 to the greenback this year, and that's according to the Bank of America as well. No good news, however, for Zambia as its January inflation jumps to 13.2%, and the Kwacha stumbles at the market against the US dollar. Still in Southern Africa, Malawi and the US African Development Foundation said they've done about 2.75 billion Kwanzaa's deal for the country's agriculture. That's Malawi. That is one of Africa's rich food basket. In North Africa, Suez Canal is supporting that economic zone. Is another deal, about $234 million deal for 5 industrial projects within the Suez Canal economic zone, and that's some good news. Tourists, however, pumped about $15 billion into the Egyptian economy last year. Again, if you remember, Egypt hosted major summits last year, including the Intra-Africa Trade Fair organized by the African Export-Import Bank, Afreximbank, in Cairo, and a host of others, folks pouring into Egypt, one of Africa's topmost tourist destination. In Morocco, is looking at investment boom as the federal government allocates about 23 billion dinars for renewable energy for the 2023 to 2027 period. That should bring in more investments into Morocco as it looks to begin to step away from fossil fuel and mainstream renewable energy, all the more in one of Africa's most advanced economy, and of course, around renewable energy output. And finally, Libya says its Mabruk oil field should be bringing about 25,000 barrels per day to the marketplace later this year. And those are your headlines this Friday. Lay back and enjoy the weekend, everyone. I intend to do so. Join us back again here on Frontier Opening Bell on Monday.